Hello everyone, it's Unicorn 1081 here. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about interlocking. Just want to basically give you some information that you need to know, and also tell you about benefits and debunk some myths about interlocking. And I've got my paper here to make sure that I don't forget anything. So excuse me for looking down, but I just want to make sure that I tell y'all everything I want to tell you. So here we go. Okay, first benefit, your hair does not unravel. You can go swimming, you can wash your hair whenever you're ready. You can do any of that kind of thing, get your hair wet any kind of way, and your locks will not unravel at all. So that's one great thing. Another great thing is that it lasts longer between sessions than twisting. You only need to get your hair interlocked once every 1.5 to 2 months. It's okay, maybe once a month, but it's not necessary. You can wait till your new growth gets a little longer. It'll give you a stronger hold for your lock. You don't need any products to get your hair interlocked. All you need is water. So that's a really, really great benefit, because that leads me to my next benefit, which is that it makes the hair lighter. My hair is very, very light, and I don't feel weighed down, and I believe that when they get longer, they won't get heavy. So I'm really excited about that. Also, they're very strong and compact, yet they're also really soft. You can see I can squeeze them, and they're really soft and fluffy, and yet they're very flexible and manageable. They're easy to style, easy to wash, and easy to maintain. And you can also, if you already have locks and you've done with a different type of method and you want them to be a little bit skinnier or slimmer, smaller, something like that, you can make them a little smaller with the interlocking tool, or having somebody interlock your hair for you, or you can make them larger by combining locks to make them larger. So those are some of the great benefits about interlocking. Now I'm going to tell you some myths and questions that you might have. And if y'all have any more questions or anything like that, y'all can leave me some comments or send me a message, and I will be happy to answer those questions as well. So let me get started on those. First thing I have is that interlocking makes your hair thin or skinny. First point I want to make here is that there are several rotations that people use to interlock hair. I find that the 2-point rotation leaves the hair enough room to swell and lock if you just do a 2-point rotation, which is from left to right and then from up to down. And it can be from right to left or left to right, it doesn't matter, but then up and down. And that's just a 2-point rotation. And that just gives you a nice firm lock, yet still gives it enough space to swell up and lock nicely where you won't have such a thin lock. I find that the other rotations that are out there, the 3 and 4-point rotations, are just too many for my locks, and for most people's locks that I do. It's just too many, and it causes the lock to thin out. So I use a 2-point rotation. Also with the thinning, people that get their hair interlocked too often will find that they'll have some thinning, and that's because you need to give your new growth enough time to mature and thicken before you interlock it. That's just a necessary thing. So you know, you don't need to get it, like I say, only once every 1.5 to 2 months. Also, interlocking too close to the scalp, I find personally that also causes thinning. I don't think it's necessary to go that close to the scalp. It doesn't give your scalp enough room to breathe, And it also makes the interlocking process painful. And the interlocking process doesn't need to be painful, just like retwisting doesn't need to be painful. So, I mean, plus that puts too much pressure and stress on your hair, which will cause it to thin out. So, those are some points about thinning. Some people think that it might cause you a pattern change, but I don't notice any pattern change. And I'll get a little closer so you guys can see my locks. And here, let me get a little bit closer. There is no pattern change. I don't find any pattern change in my locks. All my locks look the same from the bottom to the top. At the bottom, they were twisted. I'll show y'all the bottoms. The bottoms were twisted, and then I interlocked them after a while. And I don't find a pattern change. Most people don't. You just, I mean, once your locks mature, they all look the same anyway. The only difference that you'll find is when you get your hair interlocked versus twisting, you don't have that twisted look to your new growth. Some people really like the twisted look. If you like the twisted look, stick with twisting. But if you want that locked look, that mature lock look from the beginning, then interlocking is definitely something that you want to try. Some people are concerned about holes in the locks. You don't have to have holes in your locks when you interlock. All you have to do is make sure you change rotation. As I mentioned, rotations earlier, 2-point rotation from left to right or right to left, and then from up to down, and just changing that each cycle, ensuring that there's no holes in the locks. Some people are worried about length. The length of the lock does interweaving the hair into itself. Lift the hair up too high and therefore make it shrink up too high. And I don't believe so. Actually, my hair, I've been growing it for 3 years, and it's a little bit longer than most people who are at 3 years, who started as short as mine was, which my hair was probably about maybe that long when I started my hair. And it's this long at 3 years, so you know, I don't find it to be that much of a difference than twisting, because as you know, twisting ravels up the hair and it shrinks it up as well. So you know, you're gonna have a little bit of shrinkage, but not much. And the final myth or question that people have been having out there is about knots or bumps in the lock. And that is really easily solved with interlocking. All you have to do is just give it a quick palm roll. So whenever I interlock a lock, I always, after I'm finished interlocking it, I always give it a quick palm roll, just like that. And it makes it nice and straight. You see that? Nice and straight. All my locks are nice and clean and straight. I don't have any bumps in my locks or anything like that. And I don't have any of those kinds of problems. No bumps, no lumps, none of that kind of thing. They're all nice and clean and straight. So that's that about knots and bumps. At the end of this video, I'm gonna have a interlocking example where I show you me interlocking one lock, and that's just to give you an idea of what it looks like before and after you do the new growth, or you get your new growth done, and that'll just help you give you an idea of what your hair will look like after it is interlocked. So, and I also have some pictures on there of a young man's head that I did, that I fixed a lot of damage that he had. I'll show you those pictures as well, so you can see the benefits of interlocking. Is really great, and I really enjoy interlocking hair, and I find that I'm happier with my locks than I was when I was twisting my locks. Interlocking isn't for everybody. Some people just prefer twisting, and that is totally fine. But if you would like to try interlocking, you have some questions or anything like that, please feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, so as you can see, we have our new growth. What I'm going to do is put the tool into the lock at the new growth, put the lock in, pull it through. Then I'm going to take it from the bottom, put the lock in the tool, and pull it through. And this is just going to interlock the hair into itself. It's going to interweave the hair so that you don't need any creams or gels. All you need is water. And I'm going to pull it through one more time to ensure that we don't have a Y shape at the root of the lock. And as you can see, it's nice and neat, completely locked. It's not going to unravel. And that is interlocking.